time on the show called Yatu Vibes Pamene Pano on a Friday edition in Jakarta. So today we decided to do it very different because we get to dive into different conversation. We have different guests come through right as well. Now, this guest that I'm having today is someone that I've known for a while now. I don't remember the last time we had a conversation. I don't remember, but she just came from nowhere. from nowhere. I just saw someone in my DM having this conversation. I don't like to lie. You just came from nowhere. It's like this person just came at some point, disappeared, then came again. Where have you been?
I've been around. I've been around, moving around, and yeah, I had disappeared. So I was like, no, let me try to do something because it's been, I think the last time we talked, wasn't it 2021?
Yeah, should be 2021.
Yeah, 2021.
Yeah, but how have you been? How's everything?
I've been okay. Everything has been fine, pushing there. I'm healthy, not knowing you.
Yeah.
And I can tell you're fine.
I'm all right. I'm okay. Now, let's start with your introduction. For the viewers that are watching right now, they have no idea who we have right now.
Okay.
How would you like the public that are watching this interview to address you as?
My name's Luyando Tasila Skanwe. And my Facebook profile is Lulu Tasi. Then we also have a page, Lulu HIV Foundation. So you are from asking me to say I've been quiet, I haven't been seen. It's because I was working on the very same Lulu HIV Foundation. I needed to see what I can bring in. Simple, small things, activities for both adults and adolescents. So this is me, Lulu, an HIV activist, counselor, and living HIV positive.
Yeah, so I've seen you posting a lot about HIV, a lot, but I like to find out there are few people that I've seen come out to the open saying I'm HIV positive. Some will hide. They know their status. They don't want to talk about it in the public. For you to reach at this point, how did you reach at this point and just say, let everyone know, saying I'm HIV positive?
Okay, I remember the time I tested HIV positive. I was also frustrated. I also faced stigma. I was also disappointed. I was also stressed. A lot of questions came in, and I had decided, I was like, this time around, since I've been found HIV positive, and I was very young. I remember that was in 2013. Yeah. So how my HIV journey started, somehow I still ask myself questions to say, there are times maybe when I'm down, I would ask myself to say, oh, that's how things happen. We learn something out of it. So for me, I only started a simple course. It was, I thought like maybe, when someone is coughing, it's 3 days, 4 days, you're done. So for me, it was up to 3 months. Then I remember I shared it with mom. Mom was like, no, maybe, you did abortion, just like that. For her, what she stick with it was you did abortion.
At what age were you?
By then I was in grade 10. Let me just say it, because right now I'm 28. So but I was still young. Yeah. So mostly what I always say, I was still a virgin by then. So the time I explained to mom was like, no, maybe
so
you
in
did
grade 10
abortion.
you were still a virgin?
Yes.
In grade 10?
Grade 10.
Okay.
It's getting interesting. I was like, no, mom, this is what is happening to me. I've been coughing. I can't go to school. Mom was like, no, maybe you did an abortion or maybe there's something that happened. We'll go to the hospital. So because of that, mom delayed because of work. For me, what I had decided, because by then, I was one kind of a person who used to move around. So what I had decided, I was like, since mom doesn't want to take me to the hospital, let me just go and visit my uncle in Zingalume. So the time I went there, it was around 16. That was on Tuesday. Yeah. After reaching there, I was very much fit, fine. Then I started coughing, and as you know, when you go to visit, you are coughing. My uncle asked me, "Did you go to the hospital?" I was like, "No." "Why didn't you go?" I was like, "Mom doesn't want to take me. She's busy." Then we slept around 01. That's how I got seriously sick. I was very, very much sick. Even the time they were lifting me up, taking me to Chingwele level 1, I wasn't even able to notice anything. So the time I reached there, we were given a bed until in the morning. That's when we started doing all the tests. Then they told me to say, "You look a bit fit in the morning." I was like, "Yeah, I look a bit fit in the morning, but inside my chest I feel pain." There's that kind of coughing where you are coughing, you are getting at least a little bit of relief. But for me, when coughing, I used to hold my stomach. It's because I used to feel pain. So that's how the doctor was like, "No, you need to do some TB testing." I was with my auntie, the wife to my uncle. My uncle just dropped us there, then he went for work. So even all the tests I was doing, both TB, HIV testing, for me, I was with my uncles, aunties. My HIV testing mom was there. Yeah. So after we did the TB testing, we went for X-ray. Doctors were surprised to say, "Are you still breathing? Are you still alive?" Because my lungs were messed up. Were very messed up, such that, the way doctors were saying and putting things were like, "God still loves you." Because if not, you would have been dead already.
So by that time, we can assume saying the doctors already knew saying
yes,
you are HIV, but they didn't.
No. What they knew was I have TB.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, after the X-ray, after them viewing the X-ray, then that's when they told me to say, "How come you are still alive?" Instead of them hitting to say, "No, this person needs to go for counseling," then after counseling, we'll tell her what's wrong with her. So for them, I was even able to hear what they were saying because it was in the doctor's office. So the doctors were asking me, there were about 4 doctors, "Are you still alive?" Thank God you're still alive, because looking at the situation, how your X-ray has come out, you wouldn't have been breathing today, because how the X-ray is looking, your lungs are messed up, So for me, and once I'm coughing, the pain that was coming out, for me, I was like, why am I feeling this kind of pain? Why is I was still moving, but I was losing weight. For me, I remember I lost weight to 25 kg. Yeah. So what happened? That's how I started my TB medication. Before that, my auntie called my uncle. My uncle came. After the doctors told my uncle, "No, she has been found with TB." So we are asking from the family where she's coming from, who has had TB before. So I don't know, maybe it's because my uncle forgetting, looking at, yes, she called mom. Mom explained everything to say, "Oh, okay, yeah, she can have TB. It's a must," because this girl used to be very, very much close with the male father. So by then, you know how TB is. TB is something whereby, for these days at least, those days, you are coughing, the child is close, and you know how kids are. Kids, it's always to get something from their parents. So that's how it was even me. So after my uncle talked to mom was like, "Okay, fine, for me, I'll catch up with you people the other day when she goes back to get her medication." So for me, it was immediately. I remember I even took about 3 drugs just there at the hospital. They just gave me water, then I was forced to take the medication, so that by the time I'm reaching home, at least I'm feeling much better. So after taking those 3 drugs of TB treatment, Then I started asking questions because on my TB treatment, I didn't go for counseling. I never had energy for me to sit, counseling me. It was just a getting up thing. You take the medication, you sleep. You take the medication, you sleep. So, you know, thankful to God, it only took me 1 month. I got back. So that was a week.
Back to the hospital?
No, I
Back
got
to-
to my I
to
got
your
back to
normal
my
body?
energy,
Okay.
to my body was now getting back to normal, such that someone can point a finger to say, okay, there's a person there who is moving compared to the way I was. Yeah. So for me, after taking my TB drugs for 1 week, I decided to go back at my mom's house. Then my uncle was like, no, we still want you. I was like, no, mom, we need to go back. That's when mom came there. We went back home. Then the day of my appointment, I went to the hospital together with mom. Yeah, I went to collect my TB drugs for the second time. So for there, they told me to say, before getting your TB drugs for the second time, you have to undergo HIV testing. They asked mom. Mom was like, isn't she young to go, to go for testing? She's still young. Maybe we can wait. Maybe, or we wait when she's done with this medication, then we can proceed. Then the elder says to mom, she was like, no, let her go. We'll talk to her. We'll know how to do things. Mom and auntie called me at the very same Chingwele level 1. Yeah, they called me. They talked to me. Now, even when they were talking to me that time, I never had any idea about HIV, TB. So for me, it came to me as if maybe, as if it, maybe, when you meet a stranger, that's how it came to me. So after mom and auntie did their counseling to, so you'll be going in that room. When you go in that room, they'll test you. When the result come out positive, you've got HIV. When the result come out negative, which is you are free. So you have to be strong. Don't worry about anything. We are here for you. So for me, I was like, okay, fine. I'm ready for anything. I went there, and the person who did HIV testing on me was a male. No, we were even joking. He was doing the test while joking, just like that. We started waiting for the results. We did the first testing. Nothing appeared.
Okay.
Second, nothing appeared. That's when we did the third one. It came out positive. So even when he was telling me to say, no, the results have come out HIV positive, let's go together where your parents are. We call them, we come here. For me, I was like, okay, fine. By then, Chingwele wasn't even, the way it's built this time around. Those days, it was, just like that. So for me, we just went outside to call my parents. And what I did, the moment we reached there, close to my parents, I decided to run away.
Okay.
Yeah, so for me, I just had to hit and run because I didn't know what was happening. And I was so confused. I'm positive. I should start taking medication. No. I decided to run away. I had to, because the person who was canceling me and who tested me, he grabbed my hand. Okay, let's go to your parents. Me, the moment I reached there, I just looked at him. I looked at my parents. I decided to run away. Then, in running away, I had to find myself I was behind the grave there because I was confused. I just had to sit down. I started crying. Lucky enough, they had to find me. We went back inside. They cancelled me. And from there, that was the first counseling I got. So I remember I used to take 12 drugs a day, those days. So for these days, at least, it's more advanced technology, just like that. But for those days in the early 2008, 2010, 13, 12, it wasn't something.
But
it wasn't good.
At that point, when you go to find out, and they told you saying you were HIV positive and you started taking drugs, How did your lifestyle change? Did it change in any way?
My lifestyle changed. My lifestyle changed completely, because you know, when it comes to in class, you know, for me, I don't even know how I cleared my grade 12, because I never used to study, I never used to pay attention. The only thing I wanted was to be alone. I never wanted any company of a friend, not even a family member talking to me. I never wanted that. And the only family member that was there by my side is from my mom's side. That's how my journey has been. So, like, you know, even if, you know, they are good people, they've always been there for me. They had to sit me down. They, you know, when you find out to say, no, this person is in this way. For them, they make sure they show love, they show care. They cook for me enough food. If I don't want to eat, no, you have to eat, because both TB drugs and ARVs those days very much strong. So they used to make sure I eat. If mom is not around, the person who is home, they cook, I eat. That's how it was.
You mentioned something saying in 2010 you were a virgin.
Yes.
Did you try to find out how you got HIV?
I tried to find out. I never even asked about anything, because, you know, just at the time I was being told, you have TB, you are HIV positive, I was very, very much, you know, yeah, it's a kind of a thing whereby you start asking yourself to say, I'm already grown, but how come I've been found? Even for TB is known that, you know, it's an airborne disease, just like that. But for HIV, I was asking myself to say, I haven't yet slept with any man. And how come? What has happened to me? You know, where have I gone wrong? Then I had questions to say, maybe I had to use something like a sharp thing. Someone who is HIV positive. I was like, no, this can't happen. You know, so like after now I started the medication, I had to sit down, you know, looking at the environment where I was. My family made me understand. Then now it came in the picture, everything reflected to say, oh, the time my father left us, he was also in this situation. And I was one of the child, because my father and my mother were not in good terms. So it was a situation whereby, you know, a person who is on TB treatment, they need a wife's care. You know how TB is, and it's not that kind of a TB like for nowadays. For nowadays, it's a smart TB. It's a smart TB. Those days, you know how careless it used to be. Maybe a person coughing, you know, just like that. Now, for these days, it's easy to notice. So for me, you'd find that maybe, you know, my dad is coughing, I clean the stuff, because those guys were not in good terms. So you find the moment mom tries to be close, dad doesn't want her to be close to him. So the only thing he wanted him was me. He never wanted my elder sis maybe even to bring him a cup of tea, a cup of water, serve him food. He never wanted that. So I was one of the child who used to be close to him. So now, after his death in 2010, you know, I also got sick. The only people who knew it's my mom's family. I got very, very much sick. So even at the point after I started my TB drugs, you know, that's when I had to sit myself down now, think about it, to say, okay, this thing, the day it happened, I thought like maybe I brought problems. It's me myself who brought this issue on myself, but no, it's not me. After understanding how, you know, HIV can get to be on one, how one can be infected, how it gets to grow, then this is when that's when I had to realize to say, oh, no wonder the time dad was alive, I used to be like, you know, hospital, you know, moving from one hospital to another, being hospitalized, just like that. So it's when now even mom was like, no wonder such used to happen. No wonder such used to happen. Maybe those days When we take you maybe to Lusaka Trust Hospital, nothing used to happen. This is when it has now shown up, because you are now at a puberty level. So even it has decided now to come outside and show up. You know?
But did you get to a point where you started blaming your parents?
Yes, I blamed my father in death.
Even the way you perceive him?
I blamed him in death. For me, I was a daddy's girl. But if he was alive, it would have been a question of me and him to answer me questioning him. So like for me, even in his death, I was talking to myself to say, even where my father is, he brought so much problems on him. Even when he never wanted to accept it, to say he's the one who is wrong, he brought problems on us. For me, there was at one point I was like, no wonder he died. I think death has got an answer to it.
But have you forgiven him?
I already forgiven him. That was the time I decided to come out in public.
Okay.
Yes, that was the time I was like, okay, these things, it's life. Let me just leave it there and forget about it. I used to get emotion to say, he died and he left such problems on us. Because there was at one point, I heard something to say, I'll use in our Zambian language way. Ati ni wodwala chabe pajapa nyumba. Sizambo tandarapu. Just like that. So for me, ever since I had heard that, from someone who I'm not going to hide. People always say I'm harsh, but it's because of how life has treated me. Yeah. So from me, after hearing this word from a person, I can say, this is my grandmother, and this is a person who born my father. And this is the eldest sister to my father. My father was the second born. So for me, I felt to say, okay, this is when I have to stand strong for my mom. The situation that she's into, she also never wanted to be in this situation. But because of the husband, she found herself into this situation. We have to team up and stand strong. Once we stand strong, no one will come and say, you guys, you're on art, you guys, like the way people say top up, whatever. Yeah. So for me, it's the time I had to decide to say, this time around, I have to stand strong, I have to be iron, and I have to be brave for everyone, and including myself. Not only my family, but even for someone out there. It's not that this is the only small, my situation can be small, but there are other big situations than mine. So I had to sit down and talk to myself and say, no. I have to say goodbye to stigma. I have to say goodbye to discrimination, stress, associating myself with toxic people on a toxic environment. I have to say bye-bye, and I have to focus on something new.
So due to time, I wish we could go on and just break it down and just to find out more. Now, at the point where you are right now of your life, like right now, current, what is your message maybe to the viewers who are watching right now at the point where you are of your life, living with HIV? What is something that you would like someone who's watching, they should learn from you?
Okay, what I always say is this, simple and very few words. When you've been found HIV positive, it's not your plan. It wasn't your plan. It has never been planned with you. But because, people get infected in different ways. Maybe you slept with somebody, mother to child, sharp objects, just like that. It doesn't matter. Because if you focus on saying, no, maybe because of that man I slept with without using protection, maybe he's the one who infected me, maybe she's the one who did this, you are not going to focus on your medication life. You will be forever depressed. And one thing you have to remember is people are never honest. A person, it's not easily, I don't blame those who don't get to easily say, I'm HIV positive. I don't. It's because, people are fighting a lot in their lives. You know, people are still fighting stigma. People are still fighting shame on their own. You know, sometimes you might think as if people are the one who are stigmatizing you without knowing that you're stigmatizing yourself. Because you went there alone at the hospital, you did your testing, nobody was there. It was you and the doctor remained there. So there's always that one thing whereby maybe you think as if people notice something, but for people to notice, it will be you who's going to give them a hint. And that hint will come from you by not taking your medication. If you take your medication every day without missing, you'll be good to go. No one is going to know, no one will even notice anything. You know, you'll be healthy, you'll be forever strong. So the only thing is be strong, be good to take a step ahead of you, and always be thankful and always think wide, because you know you can be wasting time on being stressed and depressed whilst you have something big inside you, whilst you can do something and help others, and whilst maybe you can work and become your own boss. So you know, being HIV positive is not the end of everything. Look, we have people who have cancer, you know, they are still fighting.
Lulu, due to time, Lulu, I'm taking this opportunity to invite you on my podcast, so we can extend this conversation. I feel like there are so many questions that I'm remaining with myself trying to find out, because I know you're explaining right now. Due to time, I want you to come for the podcast so that we can get to break down how your life has been at this point where you are right now as well. Get a follow on our social media platform. That's Lulu Tasi. I'm here to get to have her on the podcast so that we can have a 1 hour lengthy conversation just to find out from her story and what we can learn from her. But Yato Vibe still continues. More videos coming through on the other side. When we get back next week, we'll get back with another different conversation right here on Prime TV.
Thank you.
You need to come for the